drive hums, we're heading out, hear the battle drums. Carrier drops in these war-torn grounds, the sky is filled with a deafening sound. Loadouts checked, our nerves are tight, it's chaos out there, but we're ready to fight. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder, canopy smashed, but we won't go under. There are too many and we're too few, is this fight too much for us to break through? In the fray, canopies gone as the swarm comes to play. Heal the world, systems start to fail. They're closing in fast, their strength prevails. Too many to count and far too strong. This might be the end, we may not have long. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopies smashed, but we won't go under. There are too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through? With a fire, a light breaks through. We look to each other, we know what to do. Training kicks in, we form our ranks. Together we stand, there's no turning back. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopy smashed, but we won't go under. There are too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through?
Hello, Commanders, and welcome to this kind of alternate reality of Starsector, as we take a little bit of an elite break after several days of experimenting with the Corsair, which has been a lot of fun, I have to say. Corsair is a great ship. You should buy it. With Arcs, you should give Frontier your support. They deserve it for what they've done with that ship. It is really, really good. And coming back to the real world of Elite with completely another mess of the recent changes of colonization made me say, it's probably time to take a little break from Elite. So you know what? Starsector just released a new patch which adds some end-game content which we're not going to get to today for sure, because it takes a while to get to the end game in Starsector. But I think this is another developer which really deserves your support, which is like an indie group. And this is probably, I want to say, the best space game you never heard of, because it's not on Steam yet. They are like released 0.98 release candidate 7 or something. So they decided to not kind of release it for Steam yet, but it will make its way to Steam, and I think it will have a huge success on Steam because it is such a great space game. The album is under copyright, yes, Pikachu, but I deliberately didn't place it under Content ID on YouTube because I wanted people to be able to use it without getting copyright notifications or revenue shares or annoying things. So at the end of the day, it's a fan work, so like, if you want to use it for tasteful purposes in your own videos on YouTube or own fan projects, you absolutely have my permission to do so. As I mentioned, you shouldn't get any kind of issue on YouTube, and if you do, let me know and we will take care of it. No, great to have you, Xenomorph. And Suga Canadensis, welcome everybody to the stream, which is, as I said, a bit of an unconventional one for someone who generally only plays Elite Dangerous. Well, if you want to use it for untasteful purposes, let's have a conversation first, because like it is a kind of big effort from me and Barefoot, and so we kind of try and keep it tasteful. So Starsector, first thing as always, new game. So let's pick from one of the selected commanders. I wonder if there's anybody handsome enough that we could pick as our playing characters. What do you think? Let's see. Haven't seen anybody handsome enough just yet. Ah, yes. Finally, I see someone handsome enough that we can pick. There we go. Now that we have a handsome enough portrait, let's give ourselves a captain, which is the closest thing to commander. We don't have commander, but we have captain, so we'll say captain, but we'll kind of use commander because we're kind of so used to that. And obviously we'll call ourselves Mechan because that's our name. And then here you can select sector age. Like there's different variations. Like old has fewer planets, but they tend to be habitable, versus young has more planets, but they tend to be mineral rich but inhabitable, and average is kind of somewhere in the middle. Results in different constellations having different age, which I think is actually more interesting. So I'll go with that one. No, thank you for asking, Pikachu. It's like, appreciate it. Like, as I mentioned, you have totally have permission. Then you can go sector size small, makes for a generally faster game, and sector size normal obviously makes for kind of somewhat longer game. In US Navy ranks, Captain outranks Commander. Okay, well, so then I got promoted. That's what you're saying, Nuclear Falcon. Like, I just got promoted from Elite Commander to Captain. So, all right, with that and with my promotion, let's continue on creation. And here you can select an occupation, and this like talks about like what ship you have to begin with. You can pick a Wolf class frigate or a Wayfarer combat fighter, and then there's faster starts or more randomized starts. Like Hammerheads are pretty decent starter frigates. Actually, it's a destroyer. Pretty decent starter destroyers. And Apogee class cruiser is instead a significantly like a very powerful cruiser. So this is a bit on an OP start as an explorer. So let's start as a bounty hunter, because like that's probably the closest to like what we're gonna do. And here you can select like what else is on your ship. A kite is generally better for like distracting enemies. A Shepherd has drone tender. It has drone machinery. It's kind of more useful for salvaging and carrying cargo. I personally find that Shepherd is kind of more useful overall, so maybe we'll go with that one. And then since we know the game a little, I think we can start on normal instead of easy. We could start with a tutorial and showing you the commands of a game. I haven't played in a while, so maybe let's do the tutorial. How about that? And we are off. This is Starsector, Commander Evil Raven 30, which I've dubbed the best space game that you've never heard about. Welcome to a Persina sector, which is the universe in this game. Fleet is middle of nowhere and critically low in supplies. We need more supplies, otherwise we will have a bad time. So there's debris we can scavenge, and we've gained the ability to scavenge. Short any supplies and viable, and then click in direction to move. So where is the scavenging piece? Up here. This is the thing. I'll zoom out somewhat. All right, we can scavenge some supply, salvage operations. We got a bit more supplies and some machinery, which is nice, and some metals, which are kind of useless, but we got those, which is fine. All right, we can now quick save and advance the tutorial, and we did that. Pirate fleet is approaching. Well, let's see, don't worry. It's a rusty bucket, and we can quick load. If we lose this fight, it'll be very depressing and sad. Your TV got fried by lightning. Oh wow, that sucks, man. Gotta get those surge protectors. They're worth it, man. Worth every penny. All right, let's see where the pirate fleet is. Let's see if it's on our sensors. All right, we see it. There it is. Open a comm link. I don't really want to chat, it seems. So let's move into engage. You can transfer command on the drone tender, but no, we want to use a wolf frigate. You can select which ship, and this is basically tells you that you can select ships and there's consequences. In general, there's a limited amount of total deployment points as to like how big of a fleet you can deploy. And every ship that you do deploy in combat results in basically a cost in terms of supplies. So you don't want to go way overkill in battles because it's expensive. It's not generally not worth it. The rewards you get from the battle are not gonna justify sort of deploying a large fleet. So let's try a one-on-one with our wolf frigate, and you can start by selecting waypoints and the like, and then sort of like beginning and going to the fight. And here we are in the actual tactical view. And if you play something like Star Control 3, it's kind of somewhat reminiscent of that, although I think it's a better version of Star Control 3. The right mouse buttons like set up your shields, and there's this concept of flux, which kind of like basically lets you well, this is a bit complicated in terms of explaining it, but like now I'm like enabled my venting, which kind of kills my flux. And there's soft flux and hard flux. Soft flux is basically how far the bar has gone up, and hard flux is, see that little kind of like that little bar that goes up. In order to reduce your flux below that bar, you have to drop your shields. If I just wait, the soft flux is going to dissipate, but the hard flux is going to stay because there's that kind of bar. And then I just won the battle. The pirates obviously don't like me. So we'll pick through the wreckage, take all this stuff, and continue. We got some experience. Fleet consumption has just gone up because we're repairing our ship. It only can be better than AD if it allows to have a girlfriend, says Diego. Well, I don't know if it allows you to have a girlfriend. I mean, I guess even Elite allows you to have a girlfriend. Well, I don't think neither game allows you to have a girlfriend in the game, if that's what you're asking about. But both games allow you to have a girlfriend outside of a game. Like, none of them prohibits you from having a girlfriend. Alright, so this is basically saying, oh, we have story points to spend and skills points to spend. So this is where you specialize your commander. Or captain, sorry. I forgot we got them promoted to captain, so... And there's a few ways to go about this. You can eventually reassign them by spending story points. Generally, I find that going the way of like technology and industry is the way to go. Combat makes your personal ship better, but in the late game, having your fleet have bonus from yourselves is bad. It's probably better. Like, Lantec is saying the Paragon is the best endgame ship to get to melt other ships at long range. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm actually not a big fan of the Paragon, at least in terms of deployment points. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Paragon is good, but it's very expensive to deploy. I am not sure. Not sure about the Paragon. Alright, so we have 2 skill points. So what are you going to do? Terrain, move, max burn level. I think this one is pretty viable, navigation. And then sensors detected at range, sensor range. This is probably not that useful. Gunnery implants, energy weapon mastery. This is pretty good for ships. This is, somewhat decent for fleets, but there's at least 2 tier levels. I don't know if any one of these is like particularly more useful. This one is very useful if you're like trying to sneak around, but the reality is there's not that many sort of situations where you want to be sneaking around unless you take specific missions, and even then this doesn't make that big of a difference. So I'm not sure I want to take sensors. Gunnery implants is great if you're running a low-tech fleet that uses guns more than energy weapons, but I think I'm going to go with high-tech in this run, so energy weapons would be the way to go. But I wonder if there's anything else that would be more viable at this point in time. So bulk transport is very handy because it increases the burn level of all non-militarized civilian grade ships by 2, in addition to giving you kind of a lot of capacity for smaller fleets. So this is a handy one to take early on. Salvaging, I think, is probably useless. Field repair is nice, but kind of probably useless. Ordnance activity is very viable for getting out ships, although it only affects your ship, so it's not that interesting. I wonder if there's anything else that is particularly useful here. This one is helpful from a fleet standpoint, but since I don't really have a fleet yet, it's not that useful. Tormentor Ray, this is Starsector, not Stellaris. So I think most people would have heard of Stellaris, but Starsector not so much. Wolfpack tactic is very, very strong if you plan to fly frigates only, and we have frigates only right now. And I can like think about where we're like planning to do a wolf pack run. I know, right? You have never heard of it. Like most people have never have. It's it is the most amazing like space game that people have never heard of. On your question, Tunzaga, unfortunately, hardened surface fragments are no longer available in the game, so no, you cannot get them anymore in the game. Wolfpack requires officers, all frigates and destroyers with officers, including flagship. That's a good point, Fenrir. Like, we do need officers, and we don't have officers to begin with. So yeah, probably not that useful at the beginning of the game, except for myself. So, combat readiness is always nice. Fighter uplink is if you go fighters, but fighters generally are not that good, so I'm not sure. Carry grip is also for fighters, that's also not that good. I don't know what I'm gonna do besides navigation. Maybe I'll go with energy weapon mastery, since I'm gonna go with wolfpack tactics. If I kind of get officers and start putting together a wolfpack. Yeah, you're right, Fenrir. But moving slowly, again, I find that to be only situationally useful. So, yeah, no, I'm not sure. So you don't right now, Tungzazaga. You can't protect Guardian weapons if you don't already have the materials, but there's also not very much to protect them against. Like, the only thing that fires anti-Guardian fields right now is glaives in anti-Xeno combat zones. Otherwise, there's really no threat to Guardian weapons at this time in the game. If you're going to be flying the Wolf, high tech over high skill, that lets you dissipate flux with shields up. Oh yeah, that's fine. That's a good one, but I think that one is way ahead. Way further up. Should we do Wolfpack? Should we go Wolfpack this run? Combat drill. Combat drill. Is that crew training? Which one is combat drill? Combat endurance. I don't see combat drills. I think you mean crew training or something like that. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Appreciate the kind words. First screen. Oh, tactical drills. I see. Tactical drills. I mean, the ground operation side is useless. The gyros you can get anyway. 5% weapon damage. For fleets that are kind of reasonably sized. I think I'm gonna go with Wolfpack. Let's see if we can do a Wolfpack run, or should I go with Energy Weapon Mastery? Both are gonna be pretty useful, because I mean I need a second one to go to the higher tech anyways, and this is probably the better one of the high tech ones. That would allow me to go at least 2 lower tier skills: electronic warfare, flux regulation. Fail skull tuning is very helpful to when you get towards the end game and you get a particular ship that I don't want to spoil, but this is incredibly useful at that point. But until then, these aren't particularly useful. All right, let's go with Wolfpack tactics. Confirmed. All right, I'm gonna get moving at some point. Otherwise, I can't spend the whole time choosing a. The energy weapon master is good. I agree. All right, let's quick save, advance tutorial. Yep, again, one skill point each level up, get story points. Oh, but we just did that, so it's like kind of not gonna tell us anything. Story points are useful for a number of things. They are like really well-designed mechanic in this game, I want to say. Receive a type beam. Show a map lane course. Intel screen. Yep, that's fine. Alright, let's look at the Antalya. We're here, and this is where our mission is. But I pressed the wrong button. Lane course. It's A. We have a course for Antalya, and we're heading there, and we should be able to use sustain burn, and then press shift to kind of speed up time, and off we go. Asteroid belt, we can slow down. Now that makes a big difference, but let's slow down for the sake of slowing down, and let's go back to sustain burn. I'm gonna turn the transponder on. Turning the transponder on identifies you to pretty much all fleets in the sector and makes you visible at very long range. It's an important thing to do in friendly and kind of policed sectors, but if you're on to do naughty things, it's not something you generally want to have activated, as you want to do something incognito. There's gates have been closed. I kind of know the situation here, so we're gonna skip this whole part, and it explains how to go dark and emergency burn. We have to sneak into a mining station. This is basically the tutorial how to sneak around. Let's see if there's anything interesting at the bar. The bar is a place where you can find missions and contacts where there's specific things that happen. But most of the market activities happen in the market, where you can select and buy specific mod specs, which are probably too expensive for me to afford right now, because now I have 3,000 credits, and this stuff is more expensive than 3,000 credits. But I can sell my metal, not that and Vulcan and other. Actually, I want to keep my Vulcan cans. These are handy. Light assault gun. I'll keep some of that stuff. It might come in handy later. I don't think I need fuel because I'm not going to hyperspace right now. And by the way, it's expensive. There's local deficit to both foods and supplies, so I'm not going to spend some money on that right now. And let's continue our mission. So let's see. This is the mining station where our mission is, laying a course there. And once we get closer, there's a debris field here, which should be able to kind of pick up some stuff. I'm gonna turn my transponder off because, again, I want to be quiet. I'm also gonna turn off my sustain burn because that also makes you very visible at a large range. So when we get closer, we're gonna start going dark, and that's gonna cut our speed even further. Now it went dark, and we're gonna move very slowly. And also, if we get into an asteroid belt, well, now we're going to scavenge some of these materials because we want some of those supplies. Supplies are expensive, and can almost never have too many supplies. Large ships also consume a lot of supplies. And we're going to approach this from the asteroid belt, since the asteroid belt masks our sensor range even higher. This guy is about to detect us, but hopefully we're moving slow enough and far enough that it didn't. Yep, we're successful. So we managed to get in. Let's see if there's a dock by bar. There's various agents that we managed to get the data from. Let's see if there's anything interesting here. Extended shield is a very useful mod spec, but we don't have the money for it. So hopefully we'll come across this later. Surveying is handy, but it's handy later in the game when we kind of go exploring around the galaxy. Maybe we can sell some of this stuff and keep moving. All right, staying in going dark mode until we're kind of clear of this enemy. And now we kind of disable dark, enable sustain burn, and turn our transponder on. So we are back in business, and the sector good graces of friendly forces around here. Why pay tax? I don't know. It's 20 credits. I thought it didn't really matter, but you're right. You don't have to pay tax when your transponder is off. All right, and we are back and can report on our mission being complete. And now there's like a number of reasons where it can send us to sort of retrieve an AI core from a Dalek probe beyond the orbit of Pontus. So this is basically the tutorial, like how to use scanners and how to figure out how scanners work. In order to do that, we'll head to Pontus. Now there's a star in a way, and the star actually hurts in terms of like significantly damaging your combat readiness and costing a lot of supplies to repair. So we're not going to go through the star. Instead, we're going to go around it and set in a course for Galatia Academy, which is orbiting Pontus. And we're going to keep going after Pontus, since apparently it's out beyond the orbit of Pontus. It's somewhere beyond here. And we're going to use the active sensor burst ability to see if we can kind of ping it. And yep, as you can see in the map, in the scanner down below, which for some reason you can't see because I think I've cut it outside of the screen. So let me actually fix that. And while we do that, let me see if I can actually. How do I do that without? Where is the? Here's the game, I think. Oh gosh. Transform, fit to screen. Where is it? There you go. Fit to screen. All right. So my aspect ratio isn't ideal, but now at least you can see the scanner and the rest of the menu on screen, which would be nice. This is Starsector, David Ludwig. Practice for an iron shell run. I don't know what an iron shell, you mean iron mode or something? Like honor mode, iron mode? Yeah, no, I find iron mode to be too stressful. Like, I cannot play a regular mode where you can actually save whenever you want. Explore, there's an automated defenses. Now it's gonna be 2-on-1, so maybe I should bring my drone tender with me. Although that's not really gonna do very much. It's gonna act at least as a distraction. Like you can set waypoints and command ships to go to different places, but like right now it's like, oh, like my friendly drone tender actually has missiles. Nice. I think we almost got one. All right. So I'm kind of retreating. So a lot of the experience in this game is kind of hit and run. Like you want to be positioning is actually very important. Like you don't want to be caught like in the middle like multiple enemy ships, because then you die. And dying is expensive because then you have to like restore your ship, and that's very expensive. So it kind of sets you back in the game quite a bit. We won the battle. We can claim victory. We can pick through a wreckage, get another bunch of supplies. Cannot get more fuel because we're full on fuel. You can't see it because my face. I'm actually move my face to the other side for this one because, like, I might actually end up being on the radar, so I'm not sure it's better. But at least you can see the statistics in the bottom left of this game. Holding shift to auto rotate to your cursor is very useful in flying nimble ships. Yep, that is true. All right, confirm and continue. We got some experience, can salvage, get more stuff, including an AI core. We got too much because we got too much stuff. We're gonna dump some of the metal and continue this way. And we can see there's other stuff in the debris field that's like hopeful to get. Again, you can take on it all and then dump the stuff that you kind of like have in excess, which is fine. Like again, you don't need all this stuff. The wolf ship system. Oh, I'll show the wolf ship. Yeah, next time we do battle, I will show the wolf ship system, which, let's see, actually goes slow. And the asteroid field. And now we can go back to sustain burn and set a course to. You can also punch in the autopilot and speed up time. Well, like I thought this was, I mean, the Coronis, this is where you don't want to be. You're gonna move out of the way. I thought this was a game that people knew the list about, but it sounds like there's a bunch of people in chat like Flying Monkey, Death God, and Fenrir who probably know more about this game than I do, which is kind of remarkable. So thanks for commentary. Let's go back to tell them to complete it. We lost the Gamma Core, which is contraband in most places anyway, so it's fine. And then recover at least 2 ships at Tetra. Here we'll repair because we went through the Corona, so we needed a resupply. All right, so we are here. We need to go to Tetra, which is down here. Speed up time again. Yeah, fleet anchor is another kind of way to... Oh, wow, there's a lot of ships here, so let's kind of slow down for a moment. Let's see what we got. Kite class shuttle kind of sucks, so we're going to salvage this. I should have sold a bunch of useless stuff there anyway. Like, this is another kite shuttle. Should I get it? And there's other stuff, but I think we should just salvage the stuff that's kind of useless. Buffalo Mark II class destroyer. Now, if this is salvageable, which it isn't, I would have thought about it. Hammerhead. Now, the Hammerhead is one of the best early game destroyers, in my opinion. So we will salvage this, even though it has more of a crew requirement than we can afford. So we're going to pay for that in terms of like readiness, but we will deal with it. We will deal with it later. This is another Wolf class, which is also handy. Wolf class frigates are pretty decent. Right? Dramcraft tanker is another useful thing because this is not a combat ship, but it allows you to carry a lot of fuel with you, which you will need if you kind of plan to go anywhere. This is just stuff we'll need to salvage. This is, again, stuff that we only salvage. And this is, again, just salvage. So we got a decent complement of ships now. We do need some crew for it. Like Tetra, there's nothing in Tetra. So because we are over our crew capacity, there's some abilities we can't use right now without like significant consequences, like the emergency burn. Our combat readiness is too low to use emergency burn. Yeah, you can mothball them, but like, see if you can get some readiness up anyway, bro. We kind of drop it all down, and we can like again repair. Get some crew first. How much crew do we need? We need 107. I like to have like some degree of redundancy when it comes to crew. You don't want too much crew because crew is expensive. It costs you money on a regular basis, like on a monthly or weekly or whatever the frequency is basis. So you don't want to overcrew your ships. But now we've made some credits. Let's see, like, I want to keep at least some credits on hand in case we need supplies, because you really don't want to be in a situation where you don't have money for supplies, because then again you start getting into some real consequence kind of situation. Mining laser is broadly useless. Dual auto cannon, I don't know, it's kind of useless. The harpoon MRM, it has its uses, but it's generally useless. Vulcan cannons, it's fine. We'll just keep them like this. So we have some fuel, not a lot, but I don't think we're going very far anytime soon, so this is fine. I think we're done with the market. Now we can repair our ships at 50 supplies. We only have 30 supplies left. We might want a little bit more, although we only use 0.9 a day. I try and keep, look at how expensive this is, like 8,000 supplies. We might buy some from the black market, which may require us to kind of, you know, get carefully away if we get caught. But we can turn this in. They've given access to storage, which is handy, but again, kind of like not something that we necessarily need right now. Stabilize the inner system jump point. All right, so now we were not detected in buying that from the black market, so that's fine. This is the inner system jump point. These are gates. As you probably can imagine, you may eventually be able to do something with them as the story unfolds, but that's a very much late game thing. Right now, we're just stabilizing the jump points. So this is the kind of end of a tutorial where you can start getting outside of a single system and start exploring other systems and doing other things beyond, like in the galaxy. Effectively. All right. Station commander in Jungala. Says 50 units of fuel. It says like how much we got. We got 80 units of fuel. We should be okay. Although it is really not a lot. We also don't have a lot of money, but again, see if our black market can give us some fuel. Now we're 80 units. Maybe some other 40 supplies, so we have 100 or so. We're very, very poor. Like the early game gives you a stipend so that you have some credits to support your fleet without kind of having to rely on other sources of income in a reliable and stable basis, which is nice. Activating warning, they're hostile and possibly a threat. Well, we'll take it. Let's see. Your fleet has entered hyperspace. Where are we going now, though? Let's look at the base. I think we're going to Jungala, right? Jungala is somewhere around here. Well, let's look at the intel. And jump point to hyperspace. It's just codex entries. History, like, oh, it's in Corvus. So we're going to Corvus. There's a I think it would be good to kind of like show you a battle here. These guys were attacked by a pirate scout, and we're kind of like weak enough to be able to join the battle. Because the battle is so one-sided here, it allows you to order your second in command to handle it, which basically makes it auto-resolve the battle. But, you know, we're kind of showing the battle somewhat, and somebody was asking to show the special system of a wolf, so I will do it now. You can also choose to deploy left, deploy right, deploy, or like, I should switch my flagship to the Hammerhead. I'm gonna do it next time we're in port. Okay. I think we don't need a lot of ships because again we are in clear superiority. So the base skimmer, which is a special system of the wolf, allows you to kind of hop quickly in rapid succession and in different spots right ahead of you, but it drops your shields in doing so. So you gotta be careful. Like, it's very good to move around, but it's kind of tricky. The Wolf is a very mobile and agile frigate, but the AI tends to get itself killed while using it. So now, again, we are in clear superiority here, so that's a kite. The spoils of the battle are awarded based on the relative damage that your ships do versus your allies do. And so I did manage to get at least one shot in, I think. So I did some damage. Apparently there's at least one more ship, which I'm not sure where it is, but now your special system needs to recharge, and you can see from this icon here how fast it is to recharge. Well, one thing I really like about this game, it has a really nice tactical battle sort of gameplay, but it's also a really good campaign level sort of overall gameplay. It's really well done on both dimensions. Okay, I think this guy died. Yeah, this guy died. Consider ship recovery. The Hound is complete garbage, so we're not going to recover it. So I'm going to pick through the wreckage. We have very little to gather because we did very little damage, so I mean, we'll take it, but we got a 1%. Yeah, 1%. But we got like 2 points. Simulator update. Oh, this is a new thing of a new variant. Basically loads new ships into the simulator as you encounter them. Now, this blue stuff here is like a hyperspace cloud. The brighter parts of it are hyperspace storm. If you go into one of these, you get accelerated, but you also take damage, which again costs supplies and it's expensive to repair. So I'm trying and not go into a hyperspace storm if I manage. I was lucky enough to not go there. So this is, where is Jangala? Jangala is over here, so we're gonna head to Jangala. I think, do we have transverse jump? I think we have transverse jump as an ability, or maybe not yet. Trying to see if there is, if I have it. I don't think I do. Yeah, there it is, transverse jump. So we're gonna transverse jump here, because I think Jangala is somewhere around here, and we use transverse jump to jump into this nascent gravity well. I might have gotten to the wrong one, but we'll see in a second if we're in the right one or not. This is Asharu, so it's not the right one. I hope this is Jangala down here. There it is. That was close enough. And that just saves you time and fuel, and as a result, like, yeah, that's another good point from Fenrir. If you're moving slowly, then you don't get. You can. Is that a good deal? Supplies for transplutonics? I'm not sure. Maybe it is. We'll try it. Sometimes it's a good deal, sometimes it's not. Let's see if we can trade. Again, trading on the black market is risky because you get patrols to come after you if you're detected, and depending on the ratio of the trades that you do and the value of the trades that you do, it is more or less likely that you do get detected. So since it's the early game and like we don't want to get into too much trouble, I'm going to trade this onto the regular market, which is probably a bad trade, but it's fine. All right, we got some supplies. Sell some of the stuff that we don't need, including machinery. Machinery is needed to do a number of things in space and the like, but again, this is not something you generally need a lot of in the early game. Like, I don't think we need a heavy mortar. All right, let's report in and say that we've managed to stabilize the jump points. And then it's basically saying, all right, you're done with the tutorial. And they're basically saying you can take a commission from the Hegemony or any other factions. Like the Hegemony, like all the fact. I mean, the good thing is it's not like a good or bad faction in this game. All the factions have their kind of like pros and cons and moral quandaries. In fact, I think it's pretty balanced in that regard. Let's see if there's anything worth picking up here. Mod specs. So one thing I'm going to do while I'm here is I'm going to go to the fleet screen. And I kind of realized that, what is this thing? That's a mud skipper, like civilian transport. So this is one thing we definitely don't need. So this is what we're gonna sell. It's useless. All it's doing is taking supplies. And then we're gonna sort of kit some of this stuff for combat. So one of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch myself to a Hammerhead because it's just a much better ship than the Wolf. I mean, the Wolf is kind of pretty decent, but the Hammerhead is a lot better. And see if I can refit it to like something that kind of works. There's always a trade-off in this game between weapons that are long range but don't do a lot of damage, or short range but they do a lot of damage. And the Hammerhead has a special system that accelerates your weapon rate. So like one of the things that works pretty well is getting really close with assault chain guns and doing a ginormous amount of damage. But chain guns are anti-armor, so if you do this, you don't have a lot of like anti-shield potential, so it's like always a bit of a balance. So let's do the chain gun version of the hammerhead, which I think is more fun. If we do that, then we want anti-light needlers as an anti-shield weapons. So we'll do that here. I don't know how much money we have, so I don't be able to do that. Compromise Hollow is not too bad of a deal. Like faulty power grid is more annoying because this affects your flux capacity and dissipation rate, and flux is life in this game for ships. And then, like, in terms of like point defense systems that you kind of would want in the back, I think I have a Vulcan actually in my storage. Yeah, I'll kind of put Vulcan cans here. And that kind of covers it. I think if we do like ballistic only, we may want to kind of like empty up the missile slot. I mean, there's two types of Starsector players in my mind. There's missile players and there's no missile players. And I am mostly in the no missile players. And I know I'm missing out. I know that like missiles can be cool, but I tend to play high-tech fleets, and high-tech and missiles just generally don't mix that well. Right? And I think my food is here, so I will finish kitting the hammerhead. Maybe give it a system or two. Now, safety override is a special one that... Can I do a safety override on this one? I think I can, actually. Which is a fun way to fly it, but is also kind of tricky. Yeah, let's do safety overrides, hammerhead. Oh, I have to adjust weapon groups. Thank you for reminding me. So we'll do these first. I won't auto-fire them. We'll do needlers second. I will auto-fire them. And then I will auto-fire my point of defense on separate groups. So each one, the AI kind of like knows how to fire them independently. Like I could also set the needlers to fire on their own. Like it might be a bit more tricky, but this should also work. And I will reserve the assault chain gun for me to fire myself. Now, flux dissipation sec is 765. Shield flux is 100. We're above that a little bit, but not too much. We should be okay. We should be okay. Now, let's see if we can also fix this valve, which kind of already has a bunch of missiles and hard points overall. Why does this have blast doors? Blast door is one of the most useless things, to be honest. Unless you're kind of, again, playing a low-tech thing where you kind of care about house strength. Flux distributor, on the other hand, can be handy, but only if you are really kind of trying to optimize for flux. This is probably more useful to have auxiliary blasters on that ship, or even unstable injector. That would be kind of more useful. Make it a lot faster. But unstable injector reduces your weapon range, so it's like not that ideal in that regard. Let's do the same here. Flux distributor, and we got another 4-point, so maybe we do unstable injector on this one. Heavy blaster is a pretty good weapon, by the way. It's cool that it came with heavy blaster, actually. Alright, and this is our tender, and then on this one, this is a civilian ship, so this one kind of like doesn't really need very much unless you're kind of in a situation where you're trying to escape where you shouldn't be in that situation to begin with. This also has a demod which increases maintenance, which is annoying. But what you really want to give this one is expanded fuel tank. So this is a tanker. So the tanker with expanded fuel tanks is well, what you really want. Military subsystem is a bit of a, you know, there's pros and cons to it, so we don't have a lot better to do than that. So we're gonna do expanded, and then we're putting stable injector, so we don't particularly care. And then like just saying fan rate, you kind of like can hold shift to kind of like add quickly stuff. And I'm gonna go get my dinner, and I'm gonna be right back with you guys. If I can find a way to kind of like NVIDIA, there you go. All right, and having acquired some real-world supplies, we can actually open up some of our real-world supplies. What I got in there, so like a napkin, but I haven't. Be a bit messy. Kind of feels weird watching Mechan playing my favorite space game while playing Mechan's favorite, or at least one of. As in, you're playing Elite Dangerous while watching me play Starsector. It's kind of funny. And yes, I mean, Heavy Blaster certainly has drawbacks, but it's one of the better medium-sized energy weapons, I think. Yeah, no, I'm done with hauling, man. Or at least for the time being. Ah, messy. I do need a napkin. I need a napkin. This is getting way too messy. Now regarding calling an elite, like I feel like the constant changes with no communication, like I'm not a big fan of hauling to begin with. There's way too much hauling. And I mean, food is quite a profitable trade in Starsector. In fact, any trade is ridiculously lucrative if you know how to do it. Yeah, I mean, money in Starsector is not generally an issue. Until you start fielding some really large fleets, then it's one thing that I won't call it an issue, but you do need to kind of start paying attention. Why hasn't this game been noticed? Well, because it's not on Steam, and because the developers haven't really like advertised it very much. I think they're waiting to have a version 1.0 that they're happy with, that they release on Steam. And then I think it will kind of take off at that point. But it's also dirt cheap. It's like $15. It's like crazy cheap. Oh, I think when they put it on Steam, they're gonna raise the price because there's a Steam commission and whatnot, and like I think they'll bump it up to like 25 or so. But a game like this, yeah, Battle Cruiser. I think you're right. It is kind of like it does bring flashbacks to Battle Cruiser. Without the bugs though, because Battle Cruiser was cool, but man, was it buggy. This game had been polished like crazy. It's really, really stable. Oh, I thought they mentioned releasing on Steam. I might be wrong. Are we still on for Finance Friday with a new Corsair, Lante? That's a good question. Yeah, we should do something like that. We should do something like that. Because Siren, the thing is, Siren, who's the one who generally organized Finance Fridays, is super absorbed with his colony and hauling a ginormous amounts of stuff for T3 stations. And until he gets bored of that, it's hard for someone to organize Finance Fridays like the way he does. Oh, maybe. It's very good, but it's very messy. You also Combat CE 2.0. That was a while back. One day you'll find a 100-slot system and you'll T3 that primary slot so fast. I mean, the problem is not primarying. It's not like getting the primary T3 up so fast. The problem is then filling those 100 slots, which, you know, sounds exciting at first, but until you realize like the amount of materials required, and then you're like, nope, I'm not doing that. I mean, even the Zoo, which is one of the most built-up systems in the galaxy right now. I mean, if we wanted to build our fourth tier 3 there, it would take 18 installations or 18 facilities to get the required build points to be able to build another tier 3 station there. That's a lot of building. I think we hauled, I don't know, like almost 1 million tons of stuff to get that system going. So yeah, I think stabilize a bit, maybe we'll build the rest, but until then, that kind of stuff is on hold. Yeah, you'd have the time forever to do it, but you need the willpower to do it. And I mean, if you have the willpower to hold for the rest of your life, I mean, good on you, I guess. I don't. Right, exactly. We haul to build the station to haul. I mean, painting the map is nice, but there's only so much repetitive gameplay, you know, that one can endure. I mean, look, if like Freyr H, hauling is your thing, then why not? Haul away to your heart's content. I find it boring. I'll do it when it's interesting to kind of learn something new, but I'm really, really glad I actually got a break with Corsair for a few days. Even though it's like kind
kind of fascinating. Like, some of you might be familiar with the Bug Smasher videos I make, which are kind of ship reviews for AX Combat. And I just put out the one about the Corsair. Thinking, new ship. I think people will be interested in this one. Practically no interest into that one. Then I make like a super low effort 11-minute video about me rambling about what's going on with Trailblazers and the latest change that kind of bricked everything. And that video gets like 20 times the views. Like, it's like crazy. Free plasma and free Gauss on the first Corsair build, and free shot and free Gauss on the other. Make adjustment as needed. I mean, you should try Atlantic if that's your thing, absolutely. My hunch is that's not going to work very well, but try it. Let me know if you disagree. If you buy this game now, do you get alpha access? Well, this is very much an, I don't know if they call it alpha, but you get to play it, absolutely, yeah. In its current state, which is very advanced, actually. Corsair is the kind of good that you're worrying about in the future. I don't know why, so it's really good. I mean, if you're gonna do a mixed weapon build on the Corsair, and mixed weapon builds are generally a bad idea. Yeah, you can play now Wilbur Force. You can play the full game. And it's pretty dirt cheap. Yeah, matching forward with tech is good. Power creep, as long as it doesn't actively break things, is good. I mean, I've been fighting Hydras with a Corsair for the last day and a half. Is it somewhat easier than in the Crane Mark II? Yeah. Does it trivialize a Hydra fight? No. So, yeah, exactly. So long as it doesn't break things, roll it. Anyway, we're done with our real world supplies. We built our Hammerhead destroyer in a very, very aggressive way, by the way. As assault chain guns with safety overrides means you're gonna get up close and personal to things. So let's see what this looks like. We probably should get a commission from the Hegemony, or I don't know if it will commission me. Could have checks. Accepting a commission. Creating hostile to like a bunch of things. We get a 30,000 monthly stipend, which is pretty decent, plus a mode opponent. I think it will accept Hegemony commission. And not necessarily my favorite faction, but you can always change without too many consequences, so it's fine. accepted. And obviously, the other factions didn't like that. And now we are gonna have some money. But now that we've gotten rid of like some ships, we have too many people, so I have to kind of lose some of the crew. We have about 100 days of supplies, which is where I like it when I'm not going out of a core system. So I go out of a core system, then I will want 200 or 300 days of supply. And again, lose some of the useless stuff. Railguns have a role. Vulcans are good PDs, like the Suskins have a role. Alright, cool. This is where I think we can... Being tracked by a local Hegemony patrol. So it's tracking me, but I don't... Did I do anything black market? No contraband, no. Alright, cool. So it tracked me, but it didn't do anything. Now we're in a Hegemony system. This is, I think, a pirate fleet because it has a transponder off, and this is, I think, more systems. It's kind of got interdicted to me, but this one is a little too nasty for me to fight on my own. I wonder if I can fight them. Oh no, that's a mercenary fleet. This is another mercenary fleet. Is this a pirate fleet? This is the pirate fleet. So let's take this one down. Let's engage the pirates. It's escaping me with an emergency burn. Let's see if we can do a... I think it got interdicted by something. It got destroyed by a patrol. Not so too sad. I wanted to take it down myself. But, never mind. Interdiction kind of went down. No, we're too weak to take on a station of the pirates, so we're not going to do that. Plus, in general, you kind of sometimes want to keep the stations alive because it generates more pirates. So, I'm going to leave them there. Do you think FDev is going to start selling stations parts for arcs? I don't know that they're going to sell station parts for arcs, but they might sell customization for stations for arcs, would be my guess. My guess is as good as yours, though. It's like, take it for what it's worth. Disable my transponder at this point. Alright, I think we managed to finally engage. It says battle is highly difficulty. I don't know why, but alright, let's engage with all of our ships then. Probably not a good deal, but it's fine. Let's see how it goes. Now, the ship is going to automatically fire my needlers and my point of defense. But the rest I have to do manually. So this wolf is kind of like... I need to gonna... Alright, use the accelerated armor feeder. Let's see if I can actually do a decent amount of damage. Boom! Alright, I got one down. That was nice. I dropped my shield to kind of drop my flux, and then... see if I can turn it back on. The wolf is escaping to get out of and recharge its flux. It did get some damage on its armor, so there's that. Hey, Xenomorph, welcome to the stream. No, they didn't call me a job offer, and honestly, I don't think they can afford me, no offense, but... my ships are doing well there. Alright, let's see, like, if I accelerated ammo feeder. Nice! Got the wolf down. I think we managed to defeat all the pirates. That's cool. I have to see if there's any ship worth recovering. How much again is garbage, so we're not gonna do that. Alright, so don't like me. No surprises. Take some of their stuff. We got some credits from the system. Oh, a system bounty ongoing. Okay. Well, then we definitely want to hunt more pirates if there's system bounty. Make some early day money. Let's see if there's anything around here. No obvious pirates. Yeah, right. We got twice, and now I got paid 30 grand, 25 grand for my commission, which is nice. Which means we start having some money, and now I'm not completely at the mercy of like. Let's go to Jangala Station and see if there's anything at the bar. There's nothing at the bar. Let's see if there's mod specs that we want. Stabilized shields is decent, not great. Makeshift shield generator is practically useless. Maybe we'll buy the stabilized shield. There's some on the black market. Efficiency overhaul. This is good for non-combat ships. It's not really worth the price, but whatever. Let's take it. Expendimus Rex is very good for missile ships, and heavy armor is almost essential for low-tech ships. But I also don't want to buy too much black market stuff. Let's sell some metal here. The rest looks good. Let's see if we can find some more pirates. Large landing pad for our outpost, yeah. That would be definitely quite the offering. Alright, there's debris there. Someone's fighting. Alright, let's head over there. There's a hegemony detachment. I don't know what they were doing there. It looks like there was a debris field of some kind. Like someone fought here. Alright, turn off my... and I do some salvaging. Nothing particularly useful here. There's a mud skipper, which is probably just salvage. Alright, another hound, which is probably also dark. Just, oh, you could recover it, but that ship is crap, so we don't want it. Let's see if there's anything else here worth. Scan the hyperspace tag giant, got some topography there, but yeah, it would be definitely duct tape. Efficiency overhaul is nice, but I don't have it on my combat ships. And I find that there's more useful things for my large endgame civilian ships as well. So I generally don't have it. I have it if I don't have anything else that I kind of somehow decide is useful. I could probably scan jungle. I don't know if it's gonna let me scan the... see if there's any pirates around here. This is a mercenary patrol company. No, it doesn't seem like there's really any other hostiles around here. I could explore a bit. Sometimes they are either in hyperspace or around the hyperspace jump point. But no, it doesn't look like there's very much around here. Let's head back to Galatia, which is where you kind of like start the sort of main storyline of the game. Which should be here, Pontus. Gravity well. Oh, hyperspace storm. I did get hit. It was bound to happen every now eventually. Can get a scan while I'm at it. And request a meeting with Provost, and then play it cool. Knowledge is good. Knowledge uplifts the human spirit. Let's do that one. there was something about a scholarship. Let's see. There's a bunch of missions that are kind of more or less randomly generated. Purchasing technology from pirates, debris field scan, instrument package recovery. This is pretty far. So I'm gonna. This is like even more far. Purchasing technology from pirates. This is within the core system, so 49 funds to be provided to make a purchase. Mission reward. Alright, let's take a negotiating one. So we're going to Brazil, which is a Tritachian system. We could transverse jump at this point. I wonder if it's going to be faster than heading to the fringe jump point. Probably be cheaper in terms of world supplies. Not so much in terms of fuel. How much fuel do we have? 157. Should be able to make it out there. Yeah, let's head to the jump point. Kind of manually. There's something here. Wonder what it is. It's just a derelict ship. There's someone coming after me though, so I wonder who it is. This oh, there's a pirate coming after me. And there's rogue minor forces. So this is a harder version of a battle, I think. So we'll kind of use all of our combat ships, which is going to cost us 17 supplies, but hopefully there's some at the end. Alright, let's go. So here I'm gonna tell the 2 wolf frigates to escort me, and the same with this thing. I have to cancel this one because I got messed up. So that they kind of stick closer. Otherwise they have a tendency to wander way out of the way and to do silly things. And one thing which is quite important in battles in this game is to actually stick together. Like, you don't want to... Because if you stick together, you can do what I just did here, which is like take ships out fast. Sunders. These are Sunders. These frigates are like very powerful. Very powerful, but I just got overloaded. Let's see if I can actually get out of the way. But they're very fragile. The Hammerhead is not as powerful, but is a lot less fragile. Let's see if we can take out the escorts before we deal with Sunders first. Like, because I think we want to have kind of most of our ships focusing on Sunders to kind of like deal with them. Got overloaded again. Not flying particularly well, but the good thing about the kite is it doesn't do a lot of damage, so managed to kind of like hit my shield there. Alright, we got them all. Shield down. I think we lost one of our ships. So you can deal with like the last of these small ones. Alright, we got it. Alright, let's see if we can deal with the Sunders now. These are, as I said, very powerful. If you get kind of like, you get kind of facing you, they're very powerful. Here's like where the positioning matters. Alright. And this is where I was saying the Sunders are fragile, but unfortunately that one barely survived. And barely survived, the equals completely survived. I could see her dead or not dead. This one though didn't survive, so we got that one down. If we can recover a Sunder, we'll all take a Sunder. I know, and they're all like, we're playing Starsector. Alright, and that drone tender's down. And its drones are about to also go down. Alright, we got tenders down. There should be a sun. Where did the Sunder go? I think it's up there. Is it escaping? Enemy fleet is defeated. It's running away. I don't think we're fast enough to be able to intercept it, so I think we might as well like claim victory at this point. It's our combat readiness is going way down. Yeah, let's claim victory for once. Yeah, fine. Pursue them. Alright, at this point we would just fight a single Sunder, so you know what? Let's take command of the action again. A Sunder versus 3 ships. We should be okay. This should be a pretty manageable fight. Boom! Sunder down. Sunder was basically dead, so... yeah, it was probably a little overkill. So here we can recover the ship that... our ship that got murdered. But... should we recover it? Yeah. Let's do it. Cerberus, combat fighters are useless as our hounds. Like, the only good ship that was worth recovering is the Sunder, but this would cost story points, and I don't want to waste a story point to recover this. So, let's do that. Let's see if there's anything useful in the wreckage. There's a good amount of fuel, which is good. Some supplies. Probably don't make up for the battle we just did, but it's fine. We got money from the commission. We got a bunch of experience. And we can probably recover some of the salvage from the battle. Oh, there's a mod spec. Nice. Surveying equipment. This is a pretty decent one, actually. Let's use it. So now we unlock that. See if there's anything else around here. There was a combat fighter, which is the one we couldn't scan earlier, so we'll get it now. There's some supplies. See how the supply consumption has gone way up? That's because we're repairing. Yeah, I know. Bonus XP, let's see how it speeds up, but it's also like some fleets are low combat readiness. Yeah, I get it. Oh, they'll repair. We're gonna be okay. Where are we again? Oh, the Galatia Station Academy. We're going to negotiate with the pirates. Let's go do that. That's the thing we just dealt with. There's something else here. Let's see what it is. A Lasher frigate. Now Lashers, if I could have recovered a Lasher, I might have actually recovered it, because Lashers are not that bad. Alright, so now we're gonna go around this storm. But I actually got hit by a storm. And we're going to Hebrazil, which is somewhere up here. There we go. Set a course. And now we can speed up a little. How are we doing on fuel? We got 200 fuel. We're good on fuel. Dawn, Pirates is banned world. I guess, should we just hop here? I think this is a transverse jump that takes us straight to the pirate world. And that should be ideal. So let's see if we can talk to a fence, confront them, accept the original payment. All right, see if there's anyone. There's a bunch of things here. I don't think we need a Cobra Wing blueprint at this point in the game. There's someone asking me to help with smuggling, but I don't even have a cargo capacity, and there's underwater bounties, which we don't want to deal with right now. And here we can just trade things in the black market and see if there's anything. Resistant Fox, Shield Conversion, Omni. This is not particularly useful. Converter Hanger is absolutely useless. Resistant Fox Conduits is useful for ships later in the game. Should we get it? Let's get it. Fine. And then we can sell some of the stuff that we're not going to use here. I would not converted hangars. I mean, I really don't think converted hangars has a reason to exist. I think there was some kind of like very specific kind of meme-like builds, but nah, I will not convert the hangars all day long. I'm sorry. Now there's a lot of company around here. I wonder if I can sneak away fast enough, or well, this looks like a pretty tricky version of a battle. I wonder if I stand a chance, even considering the amount of enemies that I have here. This might be an autosave type of situation. Or I could disengage with the special maneuvers and get a story point. That's probably the wisest thing to do, especially since I have an enormous amount of story points and I get back full XPs to do this. So maybe this is what we do. Confirm. Yeah, we are hopelessly outmaneuvered. This is a more manageable battle. This we're gonna do. And this one's even harder than... This one is actually listed as hard, bonus points hard already. But the previous one would have been, yeah, the previous battle would have been probably a loss. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got out here. Yeah, I got plot armored on that one, exactly. Focus on this side for once. Kite are incredibly dumb in terms, not only are they weak, but they're also incredibly dumb. Alright, half of the enemy fleet is basically down. The hammerhead with assault chain guns is really good. Uh-oh. But you have to pay attention to your flux though. That's something I was not doing right now. Low-tech ships are pretty good on armor. But when their armor is gone, boom. So do the ships go. Alright, what else we got? That's a kite down there. Let's go take the kite down. Boom. And with that, we have won the battle. Consider ship recovery. None of these interest me, so continue. Let's see what's in the wreckage. Sign a bunch of like probably useless stuff. I have a skill point. That's exciting. Is there a debris at this point? No, it didn't give me debris. Parts are coming after me, so let's look at the character screen. So now... Oh, I chose Wolfpack Tactics, so I should be using a frigate. Now I forgot about that. But I'm a cruiser. I'm a destroyer, so I get 10% more damage to that, so it's fine. Now... Let's get energy weapon mastery. I know I don't have energy weapons now, but I will get them eventually, and this one's really good on the way to kind of like the better high-tech variants, so we're gonna do that. And we got some decent money, so we might be able to afford a decent frigate. Like, we'll see. Someone's coming after me, but like this is a doable battle again. Let's use the same tactic here. In larger battles, you have like nav points and things you need to capture. So there's more complexity to it. But in the smaller ones, there's like just... I got my engine to flare with like one of those silly engine missiles, which is annoyingly effective.
See if we can get some range because I got a van here. I can't van actually as a safety override ship, but again, I dropped my shields and it kind of accomplishes more or less the same thing. See if we can get that wolf before it runs away. I had to drop my field, otherwise I would have charged or whatever that word is. Boom. That's another glass cannon down. Alright, we're both almost at full flux, so we gotta be careful here. I got allies though, and he does not. Alright, battle 1. Pursue them. In this case, I can order my second in command to go after them, and they probably should do it. We did it. Alright. And we got some decent stuff. Okay, we got good amount of system bounties. Tritakian is becoming increasingly friendly. Not that they are friendly, because they're not, but let's see where the jump point is incredibly far away. So this is a point where you kind of probably want to transverse drive out of here and head back to Galatia Academy. I can actually probably put my transponder on. Galatia Academy is in Galatia, unsurprisingly, as the name implies. And if there's anything interesting on the way, we'll kind of have a look at it. Again, we're heading to Corvus, so we're heading to the gas giant in the Galatia system, which is this one. And we should have managed to complete the mission. There we go. We got some credits. This is like paying credits to kind of like skip some of the missions, but I'm actually needing the money, so. There's a debris field scan, which is again is incredibly far. Instrument packet recovery, which is closer, but still quite a hike. So I'm gonna skip this for now. I'm gonna see if like I can buy a better ship. The problem is with a Hegemony commission, I'm hostile to Tritakion, and Tritakion has the better high-tech ships. Personal bounties. See if there's anything that, you know, piques my interest in terms of like, let's sell some of the stuff here. Heavy armor. This one's really good. I'll pick this one. You said not to convert, like, not converted hangars, so I'm not gonna say much about them. Okay, here we go. Turn this in, sell some of the stuff. Salt of it. See what they sell. I sell ships that I can't afford, really. But Buffalo is pretty good. It comes with built-in militarized subsystems. And it's a good medium game hauler, but I was looking for a fighter, and it's not much here. The Centurion heavy frigate is fine, but this one's like completely shredded. The black market, ooh, has an almond. This is an excellent frigate. It's more of a defensive frigate than an offensive one, and this one also has no demods. I'm totally buying this one. Salvage rigs are more useful again in the mid game once you kind of like are out. In the black, as you would say in Elite. And tugs are only useful with like the larger ships. They're also incredibly expensive. Alright, let's buy this one. You bought a new ship, yay! In terms of selling my ships, I wonder if I kind of... Part of me wants to sell this DRAM tanker because it has increased maintenance. And it's very expensive with increased maintenance, so I'm gonna do that. Even if it's gonna cost me 10,000 credits net to do it, I think it's worth it long term. So I'm gonna do that. Buy a clean DRAM tanker, which I'm gonna need to play with. Right. This Buffalo Fighter is a good medium, like cargo ship, but I don't know if it's worth it at this point in time. Is it worth it or not? These are also not that easy to find on fine, let's take it. At some point we'll want one anyway. Like, so now we need to refit some of these things. We want auxiliary fuel tanks, efficiency overhaul on these two. And then it doesn't really matter what else you place in here because you should never ever deploy these in battle. If you do, you're in trouble. And on this one, you want instead the expanded cargo holds and the efficiency overhaul. And again, same reasoning. You don't want to ever have to deploy this ever in combat. I didn't know you got more value scaling it. That's interesting. Now I need to remember how to build the Omen because I haven't built one in a long time. This is a special. I guess we start with tactical lasers because that's all we got in point defense. And I guess sabos. And what you really want is you really want high capacitors on this one. And unstable injectors, I think makes no difference on this one. And I can't remember like what the build for the Omen actually was, but this ship is incredibly good as a do some also for a second by 50. I don't think this matters that much. I think this is the one. This is one that gonna matter. I don't think we need like auxiliary thrusters all that much, but I guess this is what we're gonna do for now. This is like the first ship I have in my fleet where having Wolfpack tactics and having an officer and having built-in systems actually would start to make sense. But anyway. Kind of want to move this up in my fleet also. This is a much better ship than the stupid drone tender. Which, by the way, we probably, talking about scuttling, we should probably scuttle this one now that we have a proper cargo tanker, noting that we don't have a lot of combat ships, so until we get some more combat ships, maybe we will prevent that from doing it. Okay, let's see if there's anything else interesting. Not particularly. This Phase Cruiser is a relatively new ship, and it's like very annoying as an enemy, but I've never quite found it particularly useful as a player ship. Alright, I think we got enough. Let's repair them and see how we're doing on supplies. We got 50 days of supplies. Oh, we probably want a bit more than that. Alright, we got a bit more supplies. Organization, this is about building planets, but this is like a super end game thing. This is about sort of assaulting like with marines. This is like all things I'm not in a position to do right now. All right, folks, I think we had enough Starsector for today. I'm glad for those who are passionate about it to kind of join us in the stream of like this kind of a bit unconventional. What we kind of rename this save as. Call this empty slot save. We'll call this strike sector as a save game. Yeah, and glory to mankind. Come on to Mechan, over and out.